Overloaders, what's up? This is Dazed Confused, and today we're having the 7 questions to know everything about GelaX. Yes, relax, but just with a G. Don't forget to like and subscribe to know everything about the Toronto music scene. And let's rock! Let me introduce you to my friends, Tarek and Gellerin. They are part of the band GelaX. This is a dreamy guitar loops, dreamy experimental band filled with hypnotic grooves and fantasy guitar loops. That's something that I really enjoyed reading about the description. Their 2019 single, Live, was named by CBC one of the songs that you need to hear if you live in Ontario. That's amazing. Thank you for being here. It's awesome to have you here at the studio.
Thank you for having us.
It's awesome.
Yeah, let's just talk about whatever comes out. Let's just have that conversation.
COVID.
Let's do it.
COVID, I know. Well, we can start with, I mean, we're going to be jumping around all over the topics, all over the place. But we can start with like how you guys came together, the starting formation of the band. You guys can talk about that a little bit, and then we can go from there.
Yeah. Well, I moved to Canada in 2014, and the night I arrived, I just put up ads all over the place. Kijiji, Craigslist.
The night you arrived?
The night I arrived.
So were you a musician? Oh, sorry, were you, like, you're from Iran, I think.
Yes,
I read it, right?
yes.
So were you a musician there?
Yes, I was a singer, but female singers are not allowed to perform or even sing. So that was one of the main reasons I moved to Canada.
Okay.
I was looking forward to make a band and start the music like as soon as possible.
First night?
First night.
How did you even know that you lay out the layout? Who picked you up from the airport?
I have a second cousin here, and she rented a room for me.
Okay.
So as soon as I had access to internet, because I had my phone from back home and I didn't have a SIM card, so as soon as I got the internet, I knew about Kijiji and Craigslist.
Yeah.
I just put an ad.
Right, the same night?
Yeah.
Wow, that's like real passion.
That's great. Yeah.
Driven.
Yeah. And then I met a bunch of people, but they were different genres.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I met him.
Were you focusing on a
he
specific
actually.
genre?
Sorry.
Were you focusing on a specific genre? Like, this is the kind of musician I want to.
Well, I
team up with?
not a specific genre, but I didn't want to do, like, I'm not a metal singer.
Okay.
I'm not a rapper. I'm not a punk singer. So, like, the growls and the screams, I can't do, but anything other than that. But if you're a metal guitarist, I'm not the type of singer you're looking for.
Yeah, that's difficult.
Yeah, so a bunch of them didn't work out, and then he emailed me, and we just met and talked about music, and
She interviewed me.
Oh,
I did not. No.
Was he good at the interview?
Well, first of all, he sent me a song with the background of cats and cars and. Like, he did it, I think.
Oh, what do you mean? Like, the quality of the recording was bad?
It was
terrible.
I could hear everything except the guitar.
Background of cats?
I just had I had our cat, and I was just like working on stuff recently. I didn't want to send my old. I had just broken up with the last band.
Yeah.
And I wanted trying to get away from that sound because it was like, something I didn't want to do anymore. I didn't want to share that. I'm like, okay, that's not my type of music, but these are the things I'm working on.
Yeah.
But it's just like low quality. Like on my phone, I record
like
ideas, just comes to you, and you think it sounds great to
Yeah,
you, but it sounds like
and
horrible.
I'm guessing the you were impressed by, even with the quality being low, you were impressed with the music.
No, I didn't
No.
answer.
No? So what was it that...
So he kept insisting. He's like, did you hear it? Did you hear it? I didn't even answer his email.
Okay.
And then after a week, I'm like, just let me answer. This is not nice.
Yeah.
So I answered him. And no, actually, he sent me his...
And then afterwards, I sent you the videos of the professional stuff.
He sent me proper songs. And he's like...
And then that impressed her.
Yeah.
It's like,
and
it
then
had
I'm
to
like,
be glossy video.
Okay, let's just talk about it.
And then how do you guys start working? Like, what was the plan from the first meeting on?
First meeting, we talked about like our influences.
And you guys had similar influences?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much.
Is Depeche Mode one of them?
Yes.
Yeah, Radiohead was one of them.
Portishead,
Portishead, Marchiva, stuff like stuff like that. And the second time we met, he brought his guitar and we went like on the side of the street. He said, "Just sing," and I'm like, "I can't."
On the street?
Oh, we're like
That's
a
awesome.
park,
He's
or a
like-
bench.
Yeah, like on a bench, and he's like, "Okay, sing." I'm like, "No, that's not how it works."
I need a full 5-man band.
My
Like-
turn now. Now it's my turn to test you.
Yeah,
And did you end up singing that day?
I did, but to myself mostly. I was like, yeah, and it was like, "Louder, please, I can't hear you."
And then you
Okay.
guys started working?
Yeah, and then we put up ads for a drummer and bassist.
I think I saw that. It was in one of the music portal, right? Because as I was Googling you guys, there was an ad for, hey, we're looking for a drummer. And
Wow, it's still up there, eh?
It was what?
We should take some stuff down. We have
What
to
was that?
delete
What is
it.
that portal? What is that music portal? Like, what is that website called?
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp. I think it was Bandcamp, yeah.
Maybe.
A lot of them. We have a lot.
Bandmix maybe as
Bandmix.
well.
Bandmix, yeah, Bandcamp is
There's
a
a-
recording one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Like we have to like go through the stuff and clean it up.
No, there's
Which is
always
good.
good to have an ad for a drummer.
You're gonna
Yeah,
get
drummers
that.
are like gems.
Yeah, hard to find.
So that's, and then you guys started working right after that?
Yeah, we started working with, their names were Max and Aaron, the bassist and the drummer. But then after
a year maybe.
year and a half, I guess, Max got married and moved to France.
Oh, you guys both moved to France together?
No.
No,
Our drummer
Our
moved to
drummer
France.
Oh,
moved to
drummer
France.
moved
Yeah,
to France.
and
Okay.
his best friend was the bassist, so kind of like fell out.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's when we kind of went on hiatus. We were like, because we went through a lot of drummers and bassists after that period trying to find musicians and nothing was sticking. So we like got a little bit discouraged. We just started working, me and
Yeah.
her, electronic stuff and just trying to mix the sounds ourselves. We do the instruments, but since we're not drummers, she would program the drums and we just go from there. And then we try to find session drummers. But yeah, that was the long gap, like of a year and
Yeah.
a half gap we had. Like, it was just like kind of.
So you had a lot of time to write music, to
Yeah,
We
we
were
wrote
be with
music
yourselves.
mostly.
A bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beyond the Bench Mode and Radiohead, what would be other bands that were part of the blender to create your own style? Because it's very unique, right? I keep thinking that it's very unique. So what else was there?
Oh, lots. But you never.
That's something that
Lots.
you can't really answer because from childhood you listen to Michael Jackson and Madonna.
Which is
and-
awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. And then you grow up and you keep discovering newer songs,
Yeah.
like every day.
Yeah.
And then it just like randomly influences you. So, but all-time bands,
Well,
there are a lot.
There's
There-
a
there
lot.
are
Like I went through a lot of phases too. I had my metal phases. I had my progressive rock phases, jazz phase, blues phase. So I was constantly looking for new things to like get inspired by musically. And I used to obsess. Like I get into a genre and I don't want to hear anything else. I just want progressive rock.
Do you like know
From
everything
67
about
to
this?
like 73. That's it. Don't give me
Yeah.
anything out there.
I had my
But-
Backstreet Boys phase.
Oh yeah?
Backstreet Boys. I think we talk about that all the time, that we, like everyone's got like some sort of guilty pleasure on their iPhone.
Oh, yeah,
like,
absolutely.
yeah, there's some stuff on my
Yeah,
iPhone that I wouldn't my friends to know.
Oh, plenty of that.
If it's on shuffle and it goes on, I'd be like first one to jump in. Like,
That
"That's
wasn't
not-
me."
I don't know who that is. Like,
Somebody put it
yeah,
there.
somebody put it there. But you bought it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so there are like a lot of newer influences and older influences. If to name them,
What's your newest then? That's like when you go
Mine-
backwards.
Yeah, what are some of the recent stuff you guys are listening to?
well, it's not really new, but like Alt J. There was a period I was very much into Foles. Oh God, I always freeze at this question. Really.
Like what's your inspiration? Because it's just like so vast.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
it's
it's-
so huge. You can have
Yeah,
everything
it's like my
there.
brain goes blank.
Mhm.
I'm like, where are you guys? Just give me a
I
name.
know, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, I got you Arcade Fire recently, you've been getting into them
Oh,
more.
it hasn't
They're
been
pretty good.
recent.
They're
but
great, I love
yeah.
them. There's a guy, and not most people don't know him, but he's from Montreal, Canadian. His name is Patrick Watson, and he does amazing like moods. And he started in writing music for cinema,
Mhm.
and then he continued on to make his own songs and started singing. He's not a singer per se when he started, but then Yeah, I got so much into him within the last few years. His moods, the way he sets it up, the way he like, it's
Yeah,
very
he-
colorful and expressionist. That you can feel the moods of the words that he's singing about through the music, and it just takes you on amazing trips. And he's a piano player as well, so.
What genre would you say? Like, is it kind of touches up on everything, or?
Like dreamy,
It's dreamy, cinematic.
dreamy.
Yeah, that's the right word. Dreamy, cinematic, like pop, folk, rock. And it's just like, yeah, it's an amazing blend. Each album like tells a different story, and you know, amazing artists.
Is
yeah.
it like, I don't know if this is like the right time, because we always have a question in our mind that we want to ask all the musicians. Would you judge people based on what kind of music they listen to? I mean, the politically right answer is no, obviously.
Yeah,
Like, you
I
know.
mean, we used to back in like in 20, 30 years ago, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? We were like kids, and like, you know, most people back then used to stick a lot to like, but now I see a lot of the younger generation, they listen to literally everything.
Yeah.
It's like their music
He
plays
does.
e-
Because when I
everything.
sing Backstreet Boys, he bullies me.
I
He
do
does.
play.
He does.
I'm like, oh god.
But come on, like if you hear like a 40-year-old guy listening to Backstreet Boys, like I'm really rocking into it, like not just somebody listening to radio,
Hey, if
like really rocking
If
into
you're
it.
rocking it and you're enjoying
Like,
it,
then it's fine.
totally, it's
Go
totally.
ahead.
You deserve it, man, for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
like it's-
any music you're enjoying, you're having a good time. That's the point of
Yeah.
music, right?
Yeah.
I mean, part of me, I'm like, I gotta get you
It's
into
not
Pink
per-
Floyd or something already.
That's the part. That's the part I want to
I have to
right
get you
now.
into
Like,
something else now.
There's a lot better stuff out there. Like,
Yeah. It's not judging per se,
No.
no,
but
it's a fun question we like to
Yeah.
ask. All of us.
I think most people kind of like try to dissect your philosophy in life maybe based on the artist that you
Yeah.
like. It could be accurate in some points, but a lot of times it's just what it is. I mean, I don't play Radiohead when I want to go for like, I don't know, to the gym or like go for
Yeah.
a bike ride.
Yeah.
It's not really the motivational, like, yeah.
Absolutely. I play like some house stuff, or I might play some hard metal, or like,
Yeah.
you know, but it's not like representative always what kind of music you're listening to through your whole day. Like, okay, that must be what kind of person you are,
Mhm.
especially nowadays. But, you know, some people are fans of certain artists, so you're kind of like, you love them too? Yeah. Then you start discussing their philosophy and their, like, their lyrics and their music, and you're like, okay, yeah, we can get along. We can have a...
Now we can be friends.
We can be friends.
Yeah, it's just like a common thing. But they're fun. Like, what was that movie that came out a couple of years ago? This Is the End? Not a couple of years ago, a few years ago. Have you guys seen that movie?
I
With
think
all the
so.
celebrities in the
Seth-
movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Seth
yeah.
Rogen and
Yeah,
there's
that's-
everyone in that movie.
No.
Hilarious. We've seen it. Like,
Like-
it sucked up into the air.
Like,
It's like,
yeah.
oh, you gotta be good.
It's like a comedy, like based on everyone.
oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
And then at the
yeah.
end of the movie, they have Backstreet Boys come on.
Yeah.
And do you remember, like,
Yeah,
they're like,
that's
okay, they're in
true.
heaven, and they're like, hey, make any wish. He's like, okay, any wish? He's like, yeah, any wish. And then he wishes for Backstreet Boys to come perform. And then the next thing you see, and they're like old now, right? Like, they're
Yeah,
like,
I
they're
know,
like, yeah,
I
they're
know.
like in their late 40s. And I think one
Yeah.
of them is like in their 50s. And then you see that Ichiro, like, dancing to, like, rocking to Backstreet Boys. It's still fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we'd like to ask that question just to, like, see, like, what you guys think.
Just-
I
see their
sometimes do.
reaction.
I'm gonna be honest. I
I
sometimes
do.
do. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
very honest, I do.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say what kind of music, but I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of put people in a bucket. You know, oh, you're like this type of people. Okay.
Like,
It's not right.
It's not right, but it
yeah,
happens,
it's not
yeah.
right, but yeah, it's you can't stop your brain.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it depends also. Some people like literally only 2-3 big pop names that they only love, and there's nothing else is here in their selection. So, it gives me a good idea.
There's like so many things. I guess one of the other things I was gonna ask you guys was this is like one of the songs that came up, and I think you mentioned in one of the interviews in Toronto Guardian that it was about like the rebellious kind of. I think it's the team that you wanted to represent for your music because of what you felt when you were in Iran.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you guys, like, that's awesome. I want to dig deep into it. So do you think that drive and that rebellious kind of theme that you bring into music, does that kind of transfer over to, like, do you feel that in other areas of your life, or is it just like in music?
You feel that rebellious feeling because you're still in contact with I'm still in contact with a lot of people from back home. So you hear stuff, the news on your Instagram page or in general the news, and it just makes you furious. And then the rest of your day or your week is based on what's going on back home. or just different mentalities that people you would talk to someone and they would say something that's, I don't know, outrageous, and you're like, why do people think like that? Why? And yeah, so it's not only in music, it just happens all the time.
Yeah, but a lot of people in your position, they wouldn't fight back. So, but you did. That's what I'm trying to dig deep. Like, why were you?
In what sense do you mean, like position as like an artist or from back home?
Yeah, like why did you fight back? And then because a lot of people. I mean, I know you went through a bigger, more deeper, systematic problem, right?
Yeah.
But in different areas of our life, we could feel repressed in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm in school, I hate the job that I do, right? Like, but a lot of people don't have that fighting spirit. If you know what I'm talking about,
yes.
Or that rebellious spirit. That, you know what, I don't want to take this anymore. I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like you have represented that through your music. And
no, I was like that in my daily life at work. I was like that because I wasn't supposed to put nail polish. I wasn't supposed to, I don't know, show my hair, say certain stuff, talk in a certain way, laugh even, or a lot of other things that was just stupid. And I would do it. And I would get in trouble, but I would still do it.
But did you know people who wouldn't do it?
Everybody else?
Like everybody else, like, okay, we just are gonna conform to what they were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the difference? Like, was it the family, the background? Why were you different than the others?
My mom is pretty rebellious too. I might have gotten it from her.
Would she say anything when you were showing these kind of rebellious behavior? What would she say? Like,
it's a very scary situation because you can get in trouble, like serious trouble. You can go to jail.
Yeah, like you hear this in the media all the time.
Yeah,
people go to jail all the time.
Yeah, I could go to jail for singing if they caught me, but you just do it. You just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. It was listening. Just do it.
Like for example, at work, they kept telling me stuff that wasn't going with my logic.
Yeah.
Do this, do that, talk like this, do this, whatever else, and it's not logical, so you don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's you're not supposed to do whatever you're told to do, in my opinion. I believe people have to think, and I'm very logical.
Yeah.
I believe so.
You say
I
so.
think I'm very logical. But
the market decides.
It's just like just like 5 seconds of thinking, you would realize if it's like
this is
just,
wrong, and then it's just
is it wrong, or is it just like, am I being too crazy or something? But yeah, I was called into the office many times. We're gonna fire you. I'm like, okay, fire me.
Yeah.
But they couldn't fire me anyways. So that was a governmental place. They couldn't fire me. I'm like, fire me, please.
Did you always have that feeling of,
yes,
yeah, I'm gonna do whatever you think is the best for me?
Yes, I still do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can you tell us a story, both of you, of a moment where it was decisive to your life, a changing path moment where you said, like, you know what, this is it, I'm gonna change my whole life from this moment on. Like, I'm gonna do something that changes everything. What would that be?
I think it's a few moments.
Let's hear all of them. Let's hear all of them, man. Yeah.
That's in our lives.
I remember coming to Canada was one of those.
Yeah.
Because
For sure.
I used to live in US when I was a kid, and then we went back home, and from that age I always wanted to get out of Iran. I couldn't deal with this stuff, but I remember from age 18 I was trying to get out, but it's so hard for Iranians because nowhere in the world wants you. Not that they don't want you, but it's like a very difficult process for getting the visa.
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking everywhere, from universities to like saving my money, which would never happen. But before I came to Canada, I heard that Canada wants a claims adjuster in insurance. It was one of the skills that they wanted, and I was one.
And you did all this research because of your effort.
I was constantly.
No matter what happens, I am doing this.
I was constant every year when they announced the new careers, the new skills. I had to check it, and I remember I went to one of those offices that do the work for you, lawyers. they said no, and then after that I went to 50 other offices, and they said no, you're not qualified.
Weren't you? That's crazy drive to me. Like I went to 50 offices, and I wouldn't take no. Like, I
No,
don't-
they said no, you're not qualified.
And you still didn't get discouraged.
I was very discouraged, but I was like, it can't be. I'm a claims adjuster, and I
Yeah.
have to go. Yeah, and then I went to one, and they said, yeah, you could be qualified. And I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I have to do?
Yeah.
And I started the process, and surprisingly, it just worked. Just worked.
Just go to the 51.
Yeah, at the time, one of my friends, because they were all saying that they need 1,000 claims adjusters, and it's already full.
Okay.
It's done. And I was like, maybe one more? And then one of my
Wow.
friends called me.
That's crazy drive.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
one of my friends called me, and she was like, you know what, they're lying to you. There's only 300 something who has applied. There's plenty more space. Just do it. Just keep looking. Because she was applying for Canada too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they got rejected. And then I just did it. It was a hard process though.
Well, kudos to you. Like, like that's
Oh,
crazy.
thank
Like,
you.
keep going on. Because you
Yeah.
hear that kind of stuff all the time. Like, no matter how tough it gets, you gotta keep going and going and
Yeah,
going.
you never think like that actually.
But like when you're actually
Yeah,
doing it.
you're actually in it. You never think like, oh, I'm so tough. I'm doing this. You're like,
Like, you're
come
like,
on, just give me a break.
Go
Yeah.
me!
Go me! Like,
Yeah,
That's-
you're just like, it feels like everything's going against you, and you're like, just give me a break. Just let me, just one time,
Yeah,
one
yeah,
time. Yeah.
And then that kind of like also as a musician too, you went through that, and
Yeah.
a lot of people who are musicians, you guys probably can allude to this more. They feel like that too, like they would just hear no constantly,
oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then that's one thing happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So the important thing is to just keep going.
Yeah.
For sure. I think
Yeah.
everything. Right.
How
Oh,
about
yeah.
you, Tarek?
Well, few. I think coming to Canada is definitely one of
Same.
the biggest ones. Same thing. I think the first time that I actually, my friend brought the guitar and started teaching me a few songs. I was like 14, 15. And as soon as he taught me like a few Nirvana songs, I'm like, okay, I want to be a guitarist.
Yeah.
I want to be a big star. I want to get out of here because I used to live in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
My parents are from Palestine, but my dad used to work there, and it was not the most fun place back then. Back in the days, like it has evolved a lot since then, but it was really like conservative and strict, and so my ticket out was just like anywhere, like America, go out, get out of there. It's just a freedom wise. So I was like imagining myself like I'm like Spain, jamming.
Was there any
playing guitar
sort
stage.
of restrictions like what you could do?
Lots.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Could you play outside like
Nope.
Like there's no bar, but like
Nope.
any venues or anything? No.
Nope. I mean, most of it was like Arabic singers that would come to a specific area, and there's men in one area, women in one area,
Yeah.
and it's like they can't be mixed in the same concert hall. But like just you walking out with a band's t-shirt, they had religious police, like they can catch you, they can say like, you are against the Islamic whatever.
Satanic.
Yeah, satanic. I had a Black
Satanic.
Sabbath t-shirt once.
Lamb of
I
God.
got, I got nailed bad for that
For
one.
wearing a Black Sabbath
For
t-shirt.
wearing a Black Sabbath t-shirt. That's
What an unhappy
man.
society. Like,
Very much.
why can you repress something like that?
Yeah, see, that's the logical thing that I was talking about.
Yeah, like
It's
it doesn't
not
make
logical.
sense. Why?
It's not.
Why
It's
does that
none
make
of your
sense?
business what
Exactly.
I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, tons of that. And it's like, so that was one of the main things. It's like I realized like I do want to do that. I want to become a musician. I want to be
Yeah.
part of a band. It's just like did something for me as soon as I learned the first chord. And then I think here when I was here, I left home. That was a big moment for me.
Did you come here with your family or by
I
yourself?
came here with my mom and my brothers. My dad used to come back and forth, but he used to work back home.
Yeah.
But my dad wasn't the most, easygoing, pleasant person to live with. So he would like, so we had a big confrontation, bad argument, and I just like left, and I left the house, and I'm like,
That was one of those moments?
that was one of those
Yeah.
moments, like I literally had to, I faced my demons, literally. Like I got bad into drugs, I got into the wrong crowds, I went to the bottom of my life, and I was just like, I'm ruining my
How
life.
old were you at this point?
22,
Okay.
21, 22.
And this is in Toronto?
Just in Toronto.
Okay.
I moved here when I was 18.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then?
And then I was just like, that moment, and I'm like, okay, enough feeling sorry for myself and blaming, you know, stuff
My
and
past.
just like my past, and I'm escaping, always running away, doing drugs or going there, running away, trying to find happiness because of how I don't know how to deal with my childhood issues. So that was one of those moments where I like turned everything around, kicked the drugs, kicked everything, started to work really hard, and I just started to, you know, be part of society again. Like understand that okay, I don't have to. Some of it is boring, fair enough. We can make peace with some of it. So like that was a big.
Did you have any like a support system, like a friend or like somebody?
There was one great friend that you know saw me. I used to work with him at a restaurant, and that was. He went through addiction. He was just like, I'm just gonna keep you with me. Whatever I go to work, you're gonna come with me. I'm keeping my eye on you. And he would see me, I would drift away. It's just like, focus on the sauce. Focus on the kitchen. Like, you're burning this like that. It's go in your head.
I need a friend like that.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Tariq, is it okay if I ask you about, I know that you studied something else before being full-time musician.
Yeah.
Can I ask you to tell us a story about that time?
Yeah. After I came back, well, I had initially like, you know, come out to my mom that I was, you know, interested in guys, I'm bi, and that didn't go well. So when I came out of that period of drugs, when I came back and she kind of like got a hold of me again, that I felt kind of discouraged. I didn't want to like, you know, fight anymore. I was like, okay, maybe I am deluding myself with music this whole time when I came here. So I got serious. I got into work. I got into restaurant business. I got with family. I got married. I did all the things that society tells you that's what normal to do. And you know, I bought a partnership with one of the restaurants that I used to work at, and I did that for a while, and you know, doing good money and everything, but I kept feeling more and more miserable as the days go by. And like in the 2 years, I was just always drunk every day. I was drunk. I just did not. I'm constantly drinking. I'm always getting higher. And at that point, it's been like 5-6 years I haven't done drugs at all. And then I one time smoked a joint. I'm like, let me just do it. And then woof, everything just exploded in my head. It's just like this moment of clarity came to me. It's like, you know, when you like Bob Marley said, the weed like kind of brings you, it kind of mirrors your soul. You analyze yourself and you're like, whoa, your life is a sham. Like, what are you doing? You're bullshitting yourself. And yeah, that was the moment I'm like, I hate what I'm doing. I don't want to do this job. I don't want to be a business owner. I don't want to be in a restaurant. I was listening to music and I'm just analyzing the way the songs, and I'm like, oh, I wish that part went there. And I'm like, you should do that. I should do that again.
This is me.
And I had put that guitar down for like 7 years maybe.
Oh man, that was so beautiful.
Yeah, it was. I barely could even remember how to play. I had a hard time picking up the chops, and I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe that. It's just crazy. But it was just that moment, and I went to my ex, and I'm like, I'm getting out of the restaurant business. I'm gonna move downtown. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna do music. And I was waiting for her to tell me, are you nuts? you got kids now. And I was like, but she was very supportive, thankfully, and she was like, if that makes you happy too, go for it.
Yeah.
It was the scariest moment too, to do that. It's just like,
yeah, it's scary.
give
I
away
can imagine.
comfort and give away something that's steady every month. You
Financial
get a good
stability,
amount, financial stability, all that. Leave it behind. Go to my partners. I'm leaving this. I don't want to be part of this business anymore. That was the scariest point, but. You know, it took a while for me, and you know, you don't notice the steps that you're in at the time. You just jam with some friends, but you know, I'm here. And I'm like, I'm so glad that I did that move. It's just like, you know, I can't imagine if I would have stayed in that world, what would have happened to me.
Yeah. That big change.
You
That
would
big
have
change.
been rich.
I'm an alcoholic.
That's just, that's a great story, man. Thanks for sharing. A lot of people in your position still continue to do what they're doing, even though they're unhappy.
Yeah.
Right. What's the I'm just trying to figure out how can we tell people or how can we foster that kind of personality or the drive? Like, hey guys, you only have one life. You know, live
It's
it.
that fear.
Yeah,
man.
it's that. So, but a lot of people have that fear, but they don't act on
I
it.
know, but this is like.
Take the first step.
Yeah,
That's
for
what I
sure.
always say. Take the first step. It looks out of reach. It looks crazy from where you're standing in your life.
Yeah.
But once you take the first step to do anything, it just goes. It just happens.
Mhm.
I don't have a logical explanation for that, but it just does happen.
Because your energy and your
For some-
actions,
yeah.
everything is focused towards that.
Everything is aligned.
Yeah,
right?
and you see weird stuff happening, a suggestion from a friend, a position in this place, or something just happens, which when you're blocking yourself towards it, you don't even see them. You don't even take those
Yeah.
opportunities.
Exactly.
But once you open up to it, and once you put that mentality aside and you take the first step, you're just eager. You just see the things happening for you.
Let me ask you the next question. You were saying that you started playing when you were like 18, 20 years here. in Toronto.
When I first came here, yeah, I was playing.
What
I got
was-
into bands. Right?
What was the difference between the Toronto music scene when you first arrived to it and today? Like,
Oh my god, a lot.
yeah.
When was this? Like, what year was this?
Oh, you want to know my age?
Yeah, what's going on? You can give us a range so we can have like
2 years ago. I was like around 98, 97, 98.
Were you playing outside? Like, were you playing live at this point?
Next year, the year after.
The year after?
I
Okay.
started
Okay.
with, you know, as soon as you go into the university, you look for people. Like t-shirts was a big thing. Like
Oh, yeah.
somebody's wearing a band's t-shirt.
Easy to
You want to
spot.
jam? You play guitar. Let's do it.
It's like Terminator, like, you know, it's
Exactly.
target.
It's exactly like that. Yeah, you target people like. Yeah, so we started playing. No man, the music's changed a lot. I mean, back then, it was literally like, you know, you go personally to bar by bar clubs. Hey, we're in a band, this and that. Here's our demo. We would love to play a show here if you ever have an open night or like, you know, art night. A talent night.
Oh, nice.
And it starts like that, you know, before internet was like dominant in how you can do it. A lot of businesses were still doing it old school or just by phone.
And were you successful? Like, were you getting a few hits?
We were
Like,
doing
yeah,
we were
yeah.
getting a bunch of gigs.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't bad at all actually. I mean the biggest gig we ever got was at El Macambo. I used to be in a metal band at that
El
time.
Macambo,
El
nice.
Macambo,
Yeah,
we
it's a
opened
great
the
venue.
band.
It's
it
open
was
again.
awesome.
It's open again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
it
open
was so
again.
exciting when I saw that. But you know things did work out. Like it just everyone had a different kind of relationship back then. It's just like more. Yeah, I know this guy. Oh, this guy. Like they talk. There is more of a personal relationship. You know them by face. You show up there. You go. You talk to them. The other band's friends know them. Know the owners. And you know, back then you used to play, and you bring a bunch of CDs with you, and you know, you bring your merchandise, and people will buy the CD when they like your song, and literally, like you know, they pay for it right there. All that has changed almost. It's just like, you know, you don't get CDs anymore. You just know like everything's on the internet. Nobody knows you personally. It's just like, and there was a grassroots level back then. If you start the show and a few people from the other bands follow you, give them the CD, you just exchange information, and they just keep following you like that, and they tell their friends, and it just slowly get bigger.
Yeah.
But now it's like oversaturated, like instinct. Just start an Instagram page as a band, and you'll see like 1,000 bands just within the last year or two have started. It's just like, how do you compete with that's crazy.
So do you think there's more musicians now, or there's a platform for more musicians to come in?
Yeah, there's more platforms to kind of like expose everything that's out there. I mean, back then it was more focused, but now you're like really spread out on all the platforms. You have to think about Spotify and Apple Music and Instagram and Facebook, and you have to think about like, you know, promotion and marketing in all different platforms. And back then it was like, you know, smaller steps, but you were making stronger connections step by step until you get to that point. And now it's like overwhelming because there's a lot of information that you could be tapping into.
And the entry barriers are so low, right? So everyone can just upload a song
Exactly.
and start creating their own crowd, which is a
a good thing as well.
And also, it's a double-edged sword, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, back then it was really hard. If you wanted a good record, you had to go to the studio. You had to do, you know, you couldn't really do it a lot yourself, except by those old 8-tracks, you know, machines. But yeah, I mean.
You sound really old.
I know.
But now you can record quality music even at home. Right?
Yeah,
with the,
that's a great point.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been uploading a lot of things recently online. Can you tell us more about it? Like all the things that you've been doing and working on?
Well, we are working on an album right now. We've written 8 songs.
7, I think, right? almost there.
songs. Yeah, we're almost there. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I can
Lots of work,
imagine.
but this COVID helped a lot.
I love how you're taking the COVID situation positively. That's how it should be, right? And it's like, yeah, it helped a
Oh,
lot.
I
We have
love
some
it.
time, right? You know,
I'm
you
telling my mom every day, this was the best 6 months of my life.
just-
It was. Getting paid, sitting at home, doing what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the best period of my life. But no, we're working on this album, and on the side I never wanted to cover songs. Not that I didn't want to. I didn't have the confidence to cover any songs. But we are working on some cover songs as well, covering, giving it a twist, or just doing it for
Changing
fun.
it for
really.
your own
yeah.
style.
Instagram content.
Of course, yeah.
When is
Yes.
when is the expected release date for the album?
Oh, nothing. No, we don't know yet. That's a tricky one because
It
our
was-
drummer is in New York right now and
Uh-huh.
he's stuck because of the COVID. So
Yeah.
we're not sure how we're gonna. We might have him record some tracks in New Jersey or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
maybe end of this year. Hopefully, latest beginning of 2021.
What year are we?
What year are we? 22.
Wait, was it? What's? I think you guys recently had a new producer, or relatively newer.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
was
we
it?
started with Tim.
April.
What year was it? 2 years ago?
No, a year ago.
A year ago?
I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we started with him a year ago.
And what was that
Tim-
process like? Like, how did you guys find him, and why did you guys choose him?
I looked everywhere for a producer, and I found Tim through one of the people I used to follow. And I texted him, and he said, "Yeah, let's meet up and see what you
You
have."
kind of heard like all the other songs that he produced, and then you kind of thought this could be the right person for us.
No, I still didn't know. I was Tim. If you're listening, you know this, but I was furious at him when he was working on the first song. I was furious. I went out and I called my sister, and I started like yelling and
Why were you furious?
because he changed the song. You know, you make a song and you're so used to it. It's like your baby, and
Exactly.
you love it the way it is.
As an artist, because
Yeah,
you're an artist,
but
right?
you don't see it the other way.
Yeah.
And a producer, I after that I found out, is like part of the band that puts in his own touches, and you have to accept that.
Yeah.
Like another musician,
Yeah.
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 and he did it, and I didn't like a lot of things that he did, and I'm like, oh, this is not gonna work. Yeah, I've told him so many times this.
And how was that? Because we talk about that all the time. Like, at what point do you go no? Like, at what point do you say no? I'm not doing that.
I said
like-
no so many
so many
times.
times.
He just totally ignored
She's like, I don't want to do anything.
I said no to everything. Why did I hire you?
I know.
No, you know the reason, because he would put a sound there, like a weird sound or something.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it's not gonna go through the whole song. It's just gonna be like a tiny bit, this part
Yeah.
only.
Yeah.
But he would put it, and it's just through the whole song. So after that, he's gonna edit it, right? But I thought it's gonna be all over, and I'm like, no, I don't want that. He would just totally ignore me. 20 minutes after, he would turn around and he would be like, what? Say something? Yeah, I don't know.
But are you happy with? I'm guessing you were happy with the outcome.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
After like I heard it, I was like, it's good.
Yeah.
Not as good, but it's good. No, it's good.
But do you
It was
feel the
great.
same way?
It was
Like,
great.
what about you? Like, when you see
Most
something,
of the parts, I mean, in the beginning it's hard because you're used to what you know, and seeing bands in general and the relationship with producers, most bands, it's the same thing, right? Producers hear things in a very different way, and you know, once you let kind of partial ego go, like for example, oh my God, I worked so hard in this part, guitar solo, wherever, or this part. And once you understand that maybe it doesn't fit, and it's okay that you worked on it for hours, and it's that you have to let it go, it just doesn't fit in that part. If you see it like that, then it makes sense. If you see it from his ears and you listen to it from a different ears, you cannot attach yourself to that sound anymore. You have to look and listen to it different. And yeah, I agree with most of it. I mean, some parts will be like,
maybe not.
maybe not.
Yeah.
But you know, but then you see other people's reaction and be like, oh my God, that is awesome, I love this part. And I'm like, okay, I guess I don't hear it because I'm used to something.
We talk about this all the time. We say that as an artist, you have to compromise certain part of
Yes.
your piece in order to become trendy and go
Exactly.
like everyone would like it.
Yeah.
But then you are sharing your baby with everyone else.
Exactly.
Which
Exactly.
is
That's how it feels.
tough, right? I mean, you don't want to go too much to that route where
Yeah.
you like
Where you
lose-
compromise too much.
Exactly. You don't want to compromise what you're trying to say. You don't want to compromise your emotions in the
Yeah,
song.
yeah.
I mean, it's okay to kind of like have a nice blend of it, but when it gets to that point, you're only doing it for the trend. Then
Yeah.
it's not.
Then you're losing everything.
No, it's not.
Do you
it's
know
not the point.
where's the middle point? Like, does that even exist?
There is a bit. I mean, there is a middle point. I think. I mean, we're trying to kind of
My
establish
middle
right
point
now.
is the point that I don't want to kill the producer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's when it's middle point.
It's getting to like, it's the murder. The
One
murder,
more-
like, when it gets to murdering, like, somebody.
One extra note and I'll kill you.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I was just looking at my phone because I've been listening to your song, and my favorite is Mr. Square.
Oh yeah.
And is that one of the newer singles?
Yeah.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah.
What was the process? Can you talk about like the process of making that song? How did it begin? And was the new producer involved with this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we wrote this song last year, or we worked on it for a while, but it came from a lot of my personal experiences, harassments, stuff like that, especially back home.
And then I think we've started to cut you off, but you mentioned something on your interview, and I fucking loved it. I was like, wow, it just got me going. It's like, let this be a warning that no matter how big, strong, connected, or holier than thou you might think you are, this is you, right? Bigger strength and force that comes out of the oppressed when they stand up for their rights. I just got goosebumps. Like, whoa, this is amazing.
Empowerment.
Empowerment, yeah.
That was him though.
That was him.
Yeah.
We both.
I mean,
discussed
we
that.
talk about things a lot. We discuss songs before we write songs, and normally it goes like, "Oh, you know what? I'm fed up with people trying to judge each other based on like shallow things. I'm fed up. people from people's judgment."
Yeah.
And then it goes on, and you talk about it. Like, why do we judge each other? What's it to you? Like, at what point you should stop? And you go on and you talk about it, and then you just write a song about it. Mr. Square was one of those that I don't know, some memories came back, and I was talking to him, and there were some incidents on the internet that I saw, and then I watched the movie, and it was all connected. Like
Sorry, what movie?
the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Oh.
Yeah. But
Was that about? Why did that trigger?
well, there's a rape scene in it, and then she gets revenge after that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a crazy movie, by the way.
Yeah, it is. And it just triggered some memories.
Mhm.
And it's not like a certain memory. It's just like so much in your daily life. It happens every day, from your coworkers to people on the street to on the bus, taxi, everywhere. It's so insane that you just get desensitized to it. Like it just becomes a norm. And then I moved here, and I realized that, oh, that person that did this was sexual harassment, or that was abuse, or that was this, or that was that. And I realized a lot of things which was not existent in
At that part of the world, it's like that's normal to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was here in the subway, and a guy just his leg touched my leg, and I just gently moved away so that he wouldn't get upset. And I went to work, and I told one of my friends, and she got furious, and she was like, "That's harassment. You could have just pushed the button." And I'm like,
He kept
"But
doing it
he
more."
didn't do anything." And she was like, "No, that's sexual harassment. You have to understand
Like
that."
he kept doing it.
Yeah, he kept doing
Oh,
it.
that's
Have
right.
to explain
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Your friend is right.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't know that, right? So that's something as simple as that. I didn't know that. I was like, it happens all the time. Come on, that's not sexual harassment. And so as I learned here about my rights and why women have to, not necessarily women, people in general, have to stand up for their rights. It could be a kid that stands up against a bully, or anyone. it's these
That was kind of
feelings. Yeah, these feelings had to come out, and I was pissed.
And that song was like.
Yeah.
What was that? It's a great song. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much did you change from the beginning or the pretty like?
It
just going
didn't
back to
change.
what-
No, it didn't change
It
that
didn't
much.
change a lot that much. He just gave it like a consistent bass groove.
Yeah.
We are
The-
very moody in our music. I wouldn't say we're approachable by everyone. We're very like, we're very dark. We're very weird in our moods, and we can like creep you out when you watch us live. And a lot of people is like, you guys are like
A little dark.
a little weird.
Did you actually get that? Like
We've had some people
yeah.
say that. And I had people say it in a very pleasant way, like, I like the fact that you guys are unapologetic, It's like, I was like, okay, that's a nice way to
Or
put it.
yeah, our
but-
bassist says, "You guys are weird."
You guys are weird.
You guys are.
But he's part of the band, so he's
Yeah, I
weird
know.
too.
No, he was
I
like,
know.
We
I
are
loved
weird.
it, but, and I'm like, no, I'm not weird. He's like, you're weird. You're weird, trust me.
Trust me, you are.
Musicians need to be a little different than normal people who's working a 9-to-5 jobs or like in a building.
But it also
I don't
depends.
feel
There's
weird.
no normal. I mean, what is normal?
Exactly.
In the end,
That's
too?
true.
And
Yeah,
that's
the whole
another
term
thing.
normal is different,
Like
yeah.
we don't even
Yeah.
know anymore.
Yeah.
What's the definition of that?
Well, I love your music, so
Thank
Yeah.
you.
so even
Thank
if it's
you so
weird, I love
much.
it. If you guys are called.
Let me
Thank
ask
you.
you, how do you get to that sound, that dreamy sound, not only in the way you write music, but in the gear that you use? Do you use specific pedals or like something that creates that ambience around the music, on and off stage, I mean?
I mean, pedal wise, I'm always attracted to delays and reverb.
Uh-huh.
I've always been attracted to that, but it honestly comes down mostly to like as we're messing around over a song, it never starts with one way. Like I would just write a riff and she might get inspired, or sometimes she'll have a melody line and a drum or a piano part and she'll do it, and that just inspires me. But if the lyrics are saying something or the mood of the song is something, rather than just playing it the way I'm always, as a guitarist, you always go to your comfort zone the way you
Yeah.
play a song. So I do that initially, but then I'm like, it's not fitting with what she's trying to say. It's not fitting with what the mood is, and then you just try to imagine it. And sometimes, that gives me the idea of like just scrolling around with different pedals.
Yeah.
And the great thing now about like computers that you have
All the
all
plugins,
sorts
right?
of pedals
Yeah.
and amps and everything online. So the difficulty is trying to bring that sound you find there into the live set. That's the
Yeah.
hard. But that is the part where I start like she's saying something really aggressive here and like harsh, and it's like it needs more energy. And sometimes I don't put reverb, don't put anything, make it
Yeah,
naked,
make
make
it
it
raw.
compression, make it the distortion because it fits that mood here.
Yeah.
Inside.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it'll be something like I wish I wasn't part of this world. I'm in a different place. I'm like, okay, that definitely I can imagine myself. So to try to like, I feed off of her lyrics and melody
Mhm.
lines a lot, and as she's saying something like it gives me ideas most of it.
I see.
And I think it works backwards too. Like I do parts and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Since you're doing that, then I can also go
Yeah.
here more.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of times for us when the song first starts until the end of it.
Mhm, mhm.
But yeah, that's mostly what drives it is the mood of the meaning.
What's your favorite guitar right now? I know that you love your Fender.
I'm stuck.
So
I
I
have been
know-
stuck. If I have money, I would be venturing a lot
Yeah.
more. But I've been stuck for a while on the Fender Stratocaster.
And the Strata. Yeah.
I
It's
want
a
to
lovely Stratocaster. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I would like to get the the rosewood
Uh-huh.
1 point.
Okay.
I have the maple right now, but that's how far my mind goes. Stratocaster, but instead
Different
of
version,
maple,
right?
I'll just get the rosewood neck.
The other color.
the-
The same but the other color.
Yeah, I want the warmer sound right now.
I feel like that's a W camera too. So, but going back to the lyrics, are you like the main contribution to the lyrics? And,
Yeah.
And then kind of you guys work through that after?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I read the lyrics. That's why they're all sad.
They're coming from here.
Yeah, that's yeah.
How would you explain, like, because you guys use many different words to explain your like to kind of describe your music? You said sad, weird.
Dark.
Well,
sometimes,
before
dreamy.
that, our older, we had a bunch of songs that we were working with the first drummer and bassist, which we throw them out. Like we don't go back to them, or maybe one day we'll bring it back. But those were sad.
Okay.
I describe them as sad music.
Uh-huh.
But as we're growing, like it could be, we asked almost everybody. Do you know like the genre of our music? Because we couldn't put it under any. Not that we couldn't. We did. I'm very
didn't
bad at
know.
genres in general.
We never thought about it. Yeah, we didn't even know what genre we wanted. It's
Yeah.
just like we never thought about that when we were writing songs. Some people ask you what kind of genre it is. I didn't even think about that. We're just writing
Yeah.
songs, whatever comes
True.
to you.
Just
So that-
enjoying it.
yeah.
Yeah. So I still don't know what genre.
I would say because when I was listening to your song, Depeche Mode was definitely like I was like, oh, this kind of sound like that Depeche Mode. There's a lot of difference and
Yeah.
modern twist to it, but I don't know what genre is Depeche Mode.
It's
They rock?
New
Electronic,
wave,
industrial
electro,
rock.
Industrial rock?
rock.
Is that
Electronic.
Did you just make that up?
That's totally a thing. What do you think is next for GelaX?
Punk song.
Punk song.
Pop song
No,
or fun
no.
song?
Punk. No, I want to do a new wave post
New
punk
wave.
song. Yeah.
That sounds great.
I
yeah.
just got into it.
Oh yeah?
Not that I just got into it, like.
But you're
I'm-
interested in it
yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I was telling him like I want to do a post punk song or a new wave or something like that.
Yes.
And he's like,
That should sound amazing. Going back to the
I'm
balance.
not sure.
of it.
I'm just.
No, I love how
making
you
it
guys
up.
like just do like what feels right at the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
not just boxing yourself in a genre.
No, that was one of the things when I first started singing, I had multiple musician friends. Like I was surrounded by musicians, and some of them were in the rock genre. Some of them were jazz artists, and blues artists. I had a jazz piano teacher, a blues guitar teacher, and like other producers, electronic, whatever. And each of them would just keep pushing me. You should sing jazz.
Mhm.
And the other ones, you should sing rock. You should sing this. You should do
course.
electronic. And I'm like, I was fed up with it. And I'm like, I almost hated all of these genres. I hated rock, jazz,
I'm
blues.
gonna do what I want to.
And I'm like, I don't want to do any of these. I don't want to. And then at one point I was like, why do I have to have a genre at all? Why do I have to have a genre?
Do what kind of music I want to do.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Where can people find you? On Spotify, Instagram, YouTube? Do you want to share any
35
hashtags or?
Hayden Street.
35 minutes.
Where can people find your music then? Same?
Yeah.
Actually,
Knock on the door. We'll see.
Knock on the door.
Yeah, we'll do a private performance for you. No problem.
Yeah, but no, yeah, our music is all
What's that Instagram
all of the
handle?
platforms.
The Instagram handle
Yeah.
is GelaX Band.
Okay, and Spotify, I guess, GelaX?
GelaX.
Relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, don't forget to like and subscribe for more on Toronto music scene and to know more about this.